welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine and thank you for being here. Today we're going to do a contouring, blush, highlight, baking, and all that good stuff. Well, it's going to be more in-depth on highlighting and baking, and I'll do the contouring and blush, but I'm going to do a more in-depth tutorial on that later. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that. I have pre-filmed tons of videos so I can keep up on 2 videos a week. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna be doing tons and tons of fun stuff. I'm so excited. And if you guys like me and you like this video, make sure you like that video so it gets me up in the recommended section. That would be very helpful. And have you subscribed yet? Why have you not subscribed? Why? You don't like me, you're not liking me. No, it's alright, you don't have to. Anyways, let's get into this tutorial. Let's go. Alright guys, I've already put foundation and primed my face and moisturized. I use the Dr.Brandt Pores No primer, which is my favorite for filling in fine lines and pores. And I use the Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation. So that gives a beautiful matte finish. It's good for people with oily skin as well. Alright, so we're going to get into highlighting. I'm going to be using the Tarte Shapetape in the shade Light. This is amazing. It's like one of the only concealers that does not crease on me at all. So concealer is really good to highlight with. One from the drugstore that I love is the Maybelline Age Rewind in the shade Neutralizer. It has a beautiful yellow undertone. That's just beautiful. You want to go 2 to 3 shades lighter than your skin tone to highlight, because if it matches, then it's just going to look, you know, you're just concealing, not highlighting. And what you want to do is kind of bring out the center of your face. Anything you highlight is going to pull forward. Anything you contour, like shadow, like you're going to replicate a shadow, so it's going to bring anything in. So what we're going to do is highlight right now. And like I said, I'm going in with this Tarte Shapetape. This stuff is very, very full coverage. So what we're going to do, we're going to start under the eyes. And you're going to kind of go in a triangular shape, so it lifts the eyes. Now if you have oily skin, this is good for dry or oily skin, but if you have oily skin, I recommend the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. That's wonderful. You also want to go to the chin. You don't want to just do the under eyes, you want to do the forehead and the chin as well, because then it will look uneven. You kind of want your whole face to be even. So we want to achieve that Instagram flawless face that everyone's like loves and wants. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. And the Cupid's bow. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Beauty Blender to blend that out. The Beauty Blender is a must-have in everyone's beauty collection. It is a must-have. Is that a plane? How rude. Bye-bye. Now back to the video. Anyways. So I think the Beauty Blender should be in everyone's collection. I'm so loyal to this thing. You can do anything with it. You can use creams, powders, liquids, whatever you want to do, you can use with the Beauty Blender. And it just blends out everything so beautifully, and it's also, so we're gonna go ahead and blend this out. And what's good about the Beauty Blender is that it will pick up excess product as you're blending out, so it won't look cakey. So that's nice too. And when you're blending out, you always want to pat. You never want to rub, because it will move the product underneath around, and you don't want that. You want it to be full coverage. You don't want to have spots. So always pat, never rub. Okay, so now that we got all that blended out, we're going to go into the baking. But first, before we bake, I'm going to go in and just set the under eyes really quickly. And I like to use my M438. It's just a nice, it kind of fits just right nicely under the eye. Before you bake, you just want to set the under eyes. So just take a small amount of powder and kind of press under the eyes. That way it doesn't crease. Okay, now we can go into baking. And I know it sounds crazy, but I'm going to use a damp Beauty Blender to bake. I know it goes against everything that makeup should, like using something wet with powder. I'm telling you though, it works beautifully. Okay, so today I'm going to be going in with the Mercier translucent powder. Another favorite of mine for the drugstore is a Coty Airspun powder in translucent. That works great. Well, the only thing that bothers me about that is the fragrance, but if you can get past that, it works fantastic and just as good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my damp beauty blender, and I'm going to take a generous amount, and I mean a generous amount on the beauty blender, and we're going to bake everywhere, like either everywhere you get oily or everywhere you kind of just set that concealer. So I usually go under the eyes. And what baking is, it's actually kind of funny, it's when your skin heats up the powder, and it really just makes it kind of puts a bulletproof layer underneath on your makeup, so it's not going to go anywhere throughout the day, and it's going to make that oil, if you have oily skin, it's going to make it really hard for that oil to break through, so it will keep you matte all day. And it will keep you from your concealer from creasing, that's for sure. So yeah, like I said, a generous amount, like a lot. Okay, and I don't usually typically bake on my forehead or my chin, but for the sake of this video I will. That's mainly for if you get oily or anything like that during the day. So we'll just bake there, and you want to leave that there for about 10, 15 minutes, or just do the rest of your makeup and then you can wipe it off later. I'll show you how to do that. I typically do my smile lines because I tend to crease on my smile. So now that we're done with that, we can go on and go ahead and contour and all that fun jazz. Okay, so now we can go into contouring. I'm not going to go too in-depth into contouring. I'll do a little bit. I'm going to do another video on that later. So what I like to use to contour is the Luxie 512 brush. It's just a small contouring brush, really nice, and it kind of fits into the hollows of your cheeks really well. You also could use the NARS ITA brush, is another favorite. It's just so easy. It's just kind of dummy proof, if you want to say. Another one that's kind of like it in the drugstore is the e.l.f. brush that looks like this. It's just nice and flat, and it just kind of fits in well, and you can kind of blend that out. Another good one would be this Morphe M334. It's just a nice angled little buffer brush. This is really good for cream contouring. Okay, and as for products, today I'm going to go in with the Benefit Hoola bronzer, just because it's a nice cool toned matte bronzer. You always want to go in with shades that are matte. I love using the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, the contour palette. The Anastasia one is good too. It's just the shades are a little too warm toned or a little too cool toned for me. But I love the banana powder in that one. So you just kind of go out and find products and find a shade that's good for you. From the drugstore, I love the Physicians Butter Bronzer, or the Milani All Over Glow is really good. Just make sure it's matte. But like I said, I'm going to be going in with the Hoola bronzer, and I'm going to go in with my Luxie 512. Tap off the excess. And so what you're generally going to do is you're going to start from the top of your ear and go down to the corner of your lip. Now the further you go down, the skinnier your face is going to look. I typically go to halfway. So, and you can either, to find the hollows of your cheeks, you can either kind of stuff in your face, or you should be able to feel where your cheekbones are. So I'm going to start by up here on the cheek and start blending down. And try to blend up. You don't want to go too far down, because then you'll start to look like a 5 o'clock shadow. So you want to kind of start like there and start blending up. And you can make this as strong or as light as you want. It's all about preference, really. Okay, now what's good about contouring the forehead, if you have a smaller forehead, you're probably not going to want to contour your forehead. Now if you have a larger forehead, or if you think if by contouring it across right here and down, it's going to give the appearance of having a smaller forehead. So that's always nice to do if you have a larger forehead. If you have a smaller forehead, you probably don't want to do this. And then if you have a double chin, or if you just want to make that jawline really sharp, you go underneath the jawline. I typically don't contour my nose, so I'm not going to do that today, but I'm going to do a really in-depth tutorial on nose contouring, like, because I always see videos and stuff, and they always do a nose contouring video, but it's only on their nose, and then everyone has different shapes. I always drive me nuts. So I'm going to do a contouring video on like 7 different nose shapes and teach you guys how to do that. But it's amazing what you can do to the features. So after you're done contouring, you can go into blush and highlight. So if this set about 10 or 15 minutes, you can go ahead and wipe it off now. I'm going to use a big fluffy fan brush. This is the Morphe M495. Use any fluffy brush will do. And you just kind of gently wipe that. Alright, and now you are baked. You are baked! And your skin and your makeup is bulletproof. It's not going nowhere, hunty. Nowhere. Okay, now let's get into blush. Okay, so the blush brush I love to use from the drugstore. It's like my all-time favorite is the e.l.f. blush brush. I love this brush. It's not the angled one, but the regular one, and it just blends so smoothly and it's just beautiful. Another one I like is this E4. It's from the Elite collection from Morphe, and it's just a nice, it's a synthetic haired brush and it's nice and slanted. I just think it blends out blush beautifully. But today I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. blush brush because that's my fave. Alright, and we're going to go in with the Becca Jaclyn Hill Split Pan with FlowerChild and Champagne Pop. Oh my gosh, these are just beautiful. Can we talk about them? And the packaging is just to die for. Just beautiful. Congratulations, Jaclyn. I know this is the kind of the last hoorah for the Becca and Jaclyn Hill. So I like to take this brush, and I don't like to go right on the apples of the cheeks. So I like to take it on the side and kind of blend it right above that contour. And you don't want to, you want to make sure it's all blended correctly because you don't want to have your highlight, blush, and your contour look like Neapolitan ice cream, like chocolate, strawberry, everything. So you want to make it all kind of blend together. So just go right on top of that contour. See how that just blends kind of nicely together? Now the other side. Now the L'Oreal True Match blush from the drugstore, I love Rosy Outlook. Those are really good blushes, as well as the Covergirl ones. I adore those ones from the drugstore. Okay, now we can get into highlighting. So I like to take, my favorite brush to take for highlighting is the Morphe M510. It's just a natural hair, it's a natural haired goat-haired brush, and it's just really fluffy and raw, and it just kind of blends that highlight out perfectly. Now I like to spray my highlighting brush with MAC Fix Plus. I don't have mine right here, so I'm not going to do it, but I like to spray it with MAC Fix Plus. Any setting spray will really do. It just makes sure that highlight is going to stick, as well as it's going to make it pop, like hella brighter, and last all day. So we're going to take some on our brush, and we're going to go right on the high points of our cheekbones, and kind of wrap it around. Ooh, look at that. Yes, hunty. You're glowing. Other side. Now if you're looking for more of a natural highlight, you're going to want to do your highlight before your blush. If you want it stronger, you want to do your blush then highlight. Just a little quick tip. Okay, I also like to go down the bridge of the nose. If you're oily, you're not going to want to highlight your chin or your forehead, but I'm more on the dry side, so I just do a little bit. And the Cupid's bow. Now the Cupid's bow, I think, is like a must, just because it makes your lips look so plump and it's just so pretty. Alright, and we are done highlighting. Alright guys, I think that's it for the baking and highlighting video. I try to go as in-depth as possible and teach you guys as much as possible. I hope you learned a few things. If you let me know what products you use. Do you like these products? Which ones do you know work for you? Which ones haven't? Any questions you have, comment down below. Make sure you like this video. That would really help me out. Why haven't you done that already? Or subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, why haven't you? Make sure you subscribe. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.